Argentina get through yet another scare in this World Cup. A 3-2 win in normal time this time over Egypt. An incredible comeback. One of the games we've seen, one of the best games we've seen this tournament. We've said that a lot. There's been some incredible games this week, every day. And this one was right up there as well. Like that other game Argentina played in the knockout stage, Cape Verde one, where they won 3-2 for extra time. And they're just, to be fair, this is what champions do. Where even when you're not playing well, even when, they're in positions where they look like they're done, because they did just see they looked like they was out. They just find a way through, find a way to get the win still. And it's you could one or two ways of looking at it. You could say, well, it's unconvincing. These wins have been unconvincing. They haven't found the form that they've shown in the group stages, where they look like one of the best performing sides. Where you're thinking at one point, well, maybe the teams in the group like Algeria or Austria just weren't that great, because in the knockout stages they lost their first games as well. But then you could also look at it and think, well, if this is a team that knows how to win, it's a team that's been there and done it, and they're still finding a way to do it. And Messi is still turning up as well. And even when he's having like bad moments in games, like another penalty miss, he seems to always come back and step up and do something brilliant. And Egypt as well, I mean, fair play to them. I mean, they was unfortunate to fall short yesterday, 10 minutes away from knocking them out and going through. They already had the most successful World Cup, first ever World Cup win. They already had like the best team that they've probably ever had by the looks of things, and they were going so well in that game yesterday. Looked like they were going to do it. The counter-attacking was fantastic. The attacking football they played was so good. Just defensively, they lost their structure a bit in the end, and that was where they come unstuck. And once one went in, the pressure really got to them. But fantastic tournament. If they could have got through to the quarterfinals, would have been even better. But already a major success for them. And one of the surprise teams of the tournament, one of the teams that was underestimated and has really shone this tournament for sure. Unbeaten in the group stage, got through penalties against Australia, and coming to this game, and make a game of it. I think most people thought Argentina would win, but I did think Egypt to make a game of it. But for a while, it looked like it was going to go through, and it was a perfect start. From a cross that's coming in, a header puts them in front early on. And quite quickly Argentina looked like they're going to get themselves back into it. They win a penalty. Messi takes the penalty, and Messi misses another penalty like he did in the first game. That's 2 penalties he's taken this World Cup that he's missed now, and apparently he's missed half of the penalties he's taken in the World Cup, which is quite some stat. Out of the 8 World Cup penalties he's taken in his career, he's missed 4 of them, which is pretty astonishing when you think about it. But they see it through to half time, Egypt, and although Argentina were maybe dominating the ball and were getting into a lot of good areas still, and it was going to be a real upset, so there's a long way to go still. It very much felt like Egypt were in a very, very good position, and the counter, and were strong on the counter, and always were going to be a threat as well. So it felt like they had a real chance. And the longer it went on, it felt like they really could do it. Egypt as well. They've had so many good players this tournament make a name for themselves, not just the established ones. So many players have come through and really shone for them. And at one point, Argentina looked like they were they were down and out. They looked completely up against it in the second half. That sort of theme didn't change. Egypt to very much the better side towards the start of the second half. Argentina trying to force the issue, trying to get themselves back in the game, but Egypt so dangerous on the counter. And they've shown that when they seemingly get themselves 2-0 up. Zico puts 2 up, and then of course this is pulled back for the foul, which you could maybe say was a foul. A lot of people very annoyed about it. If that had gone in, maybe Egypt would have gone through the position that they probably would have got themselves in. That felt quite pivotal, but it didn't stop them. They come out very strong still after that, and then they did it again to them on the counter, and Zico does get his goal. Fantastic move, fantastic counter attack. Argentina completely opened up by that, and by this point, 20 minutes left, and within 15 minutes, they're 2-0 up Egypt, then 3-2 down. They were 2-0 up with 10 to go, looking like they're going through. And Argentina, this is going to be one of the shocks of the tournament. They're heading for an exit, and that'll be Brazil and Argentina. Portugal all out. Big teams already going out. If Portugal and Argentina both made it out, it was generally looking like all the South American teams are going to go. It was very much looking like Colombia. Are they going to be the best at this point of the day? You're thinking of Colombia. Are they going to be the best South American side? Are they going to be the team that does it? And there's been a lot of talk. People saying could we see an Argentina Brazil? That couldn't happen now. Could we see an Argentina England semi-final? And you're just thinking, no, well, this was looking good from an England perspective. Obviously, I've spoken a lot about all the teams on that side of the draw. Fantastic teams in all of them, but Argentina going out can only be a positive thing for England, however good the other sides are. and very much looked like it was going to happen, but they didn't go down without a fight. Romero, he does pull one back. They're having these corners. Argentina, they're still getting into good positions. They're trying to force issue, but it very much looked like they was getting desperate. But once one went in, the momentum just completely shifted, and Egypt all of a sudden were holding on. There's only one goal in it now. When there were 2 goals up, the pressure was all on Argentina. They had that 2-goal cushion. But as soon as that goal went in, momentum completely shifted, and I think, then they're really putting the pressure on, and within 4 minutes, Messi gets another one, and this is a fantastic strike. It's a bit of a scramble on the goal line, but then he takes the strike after a clearance, and he just pounded in off the crossbar, really, and then it obviously did eventually cross the line. Fantastic shot, fantastic goal. Argentina back in the game just like that. At this point, you think, yeah, they could well go on to get a winner now. Momentum's completely with them. Egypt trying to counter, still trying to do their thing, and they very much still tried to do that for the rest of the game, but defensively they just lost the structure a bit. Once they had the first one where they switched off a bit at the back when Romero scored, they seemed to lose all the organisation, and there just seemed to be an element of panic there, and they just looked like a bit out of ideas. And it's a shame because the counter-attacking that they did, the attacking football they played was so good for most of the game, but they really did just lose the structure a bit. It really looked like they was going to do it for a while. But like I say, Argentina, this is what champions do. They just find a way, and they're still in this tournament. Have the performances been convincing? I mean, they look like a top team could find a way to beat them, definitely, but there is just something about them. They do seem to have this sort of never say die. They're never really beaten. You think they're out, and then they just seem to find something else from somewhere. And then in the end, Enzo is the one who gets them the winning goal in stoppage time. The 7-0 mix. It very much looked like both of these two went to extra time in the round of 32. Could we see around the 16 extra time between them? It very much looked like it for a while. But Argentina, they carry on with the momentum they were on. And Enzo heads them in front, and from there it was always game over. Egypt tried, but from there Argentina was able to see the game out and get themselves through. They found a way. Very, very impressed in many ways with the way they did it as well. I think there's a lot to be said for that. I mean, it's hard to work them out. It's hard to rank them among the favourites because Spain and France have been so efficient. England is sort of somewhere in between the two, in the sense that we've had very, very, very good performances against Mexico in a different sort of way, where we really had to fight for everything in the second half. Where Argentina had really bad sort of start to this game, really bad sort of spells in the second half as well. They really, really had to dig deep and step up in the last sort of 10 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes for them for the rest of the tournament. Can they win it? They definitely can. They've definitely got the makings of a winning team. Are they the best team to watch? Are they the best performing team in the way that they play game in, game out? Probably not, but that's not their style. Their style is very much the type of game we saw from them yesterday. So they make it through to the quarter final. Now, there was a lot of talk about an all South American quarter final. A lot of people sort of thinking, yeah, we're going to see Colombia, Argentina, but I knew it might not be that straightforward. I knew Switzerland against Colombia was going to be a neck in neck, incredibly tight game. It certainly was that. I knew it could go either way. I thought this one might be a penalty shootout. I did go for Colombia to get through, but I knew it could go either way. Really, really tight. Both really good sides. Switzerland, 5 of the last 6 have got to this stage, a knockout stage. They always seem to fall at this stage, and they've never actually been beyond it up till this point. Recently went out to Portugal, 6-1. They did really, really well. Keeps constantly getting to this stage. This is just a real hurdle for them. They finally overcome that. Their first ever quarter-finals. It's fantastic. And, they've definitely got the makings of a team that could go further. And I would have said that about Colombia as well. I think the issue was for Colombia, the one thing is they wasn't scoring quite enough goals. They're very, very good on the counter, and they was clinical and took the chances when they got them in the previous games. They were very good top in the group, and defensively was so well organised, and they seem to be one of these teams to play without fear. They seem to be very, very hard to beat defensively, and I think there was that yesterday as well, but so is Switzerland. Switzerland definitely hard to beat in some ways as well, and they were scoring a lot of goals as well, but there was about 2 key players yesterday. Vargas and someone else was out as well, but didn't actually affect them too much. I mean, it was such a tight game though. I mean, if you look at the sort of stats at half time, it was literally completely split down the middle pretty much. Both teams having some chances through, and then you very much felt like, yeah, this one's going to go all the way. It goes all the way to extra time. Colombia had a few good chances there. Switzerland creating some as well. It's always felt destined for penalties. That was the talking point. This one's going to go to penalties, and it was like the Colombia team as well that so unfortunate as well to fall at this stage, such a tight game, and you feel like they really did. There was a real feeling that maybe they've got a chance to go all the way, and they're one of the real dark horses coming into the tournament. They've really sort of lived up to it quietly. both of these two sort of quietly gone about business and been very efficient and very, you know, good and gone under the radar a bit. Both topping the groups as well. Very a lot of similarities between the two sides. Yeah, Colombia have had a lot of golden generations in the past that have not, performed as well as they should, and they've improved a lot over the last couple of years, and they've really built one of those teams. Again, qualified so well, so unlucky not to even win the Copa America a few years ago, and coming into this, they was looking to have the best World Cup in a while. They went out to Brazil in 2014, where they made the quarter final there. That was one of their top sides, and this team really has performed this tournament, been really impressive on their run so far. But Switzerland ultimately halted that in this penalty shootout. It was impressive from them on penalties. Of course, Colombia did take first, and the first two are going in, but Davison Sanchez missed, and they just got the advantage. Switzerland, but Colombia do score the next one, then pressure's on Switzerland a bit more. Kanji misses, so both centre-backs missed at this point, but hanging in the balance going into the fourth, but then, not a good penalty, the fourth one, miss from Colombia. Switzerland again take the advantage. Luis Diaz takes it down to that last penalty, but then Vargas steps up, is fit enough for the bench and come on for the penalties, and then he wins it for Switzerland. So fantastic for Switzerland, history made, first ever quarter final. Massive well done to them. They're going to be a threat beyond this game, I believe. I believe they can cause a lot of teams problems. They're that type of team. And I think it's an interesting game when they play Argentina. I think Switzerland's been written off before, and I think that's the danger with them. Really, they are a very dangerous side, and always seem to be underestimated. And this feels like it's been a long time coming that they have a real run in the World Cup, because of how good, how efficient, how consistent they've been for so long. Always good for the group stages, always getting to the knockout stages, and always have an upset in them. But this very much feels like this could be the best team yet, and it feels like the experience now is really starting to build from all the sort of success, from all the sort of consistent good performances in the tournaments they've had in recent years. And yeah, I mean there'll be a threat beyond this game for sure. But such a tight game, really, really could have gone either way. And Switzerland, in the end, had the edge on penalties. Very, very impressive how they managed the penalty shootout. So the quarterfinals all set now. We'll see Morocco against France. Very interesting game there. Then we've got Spain against Belgium. Also on that side of the bracket. The other side of the bracket, we of course, have England and Norway. Massive game. Always going to be a lot of stories surrounding that game. A lot of talking points. The predictions video will be coming soon for all of these games as well. And then we see it is after a lot of looking like it might, even multiple times yesterday, it looks like it might have been something completely different. But after very, very nervy, very close games yesterday, we'll see Argentina taking on Switzerland in the final quarter-final. So very much looking forward to all of that. Teams that went out yesterday felt very unfortunate, very, very close games, and Egypt in the end just started to sort of lose their heads a bit, which just you see the manager and the coaching staff, a lot of them getting booked. Shame. They're very good run in this tournament though. You can say that about a lot of teams that have pushed teams close, but this final eight now looks very strong. These are very much it's very much getting down to the top stage of the tournament now, and you feel like everyone in it has got a look at it and think, yeah, we got a realistic chance with how the draws panned out. So we'll see how it all goes in the coming days.